Good evening.
How's everybody tonight?
Sir.
All right. Miss Watford, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, or the invocation, and then the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Certainly will. If you will, bow with me. As we gather for this meeting, dear Heavenly Father, we request your guidance and wisdom to navigate our discussions with open hearts and minds. Help us to listen attentively, respect differing perspectives, and work together to reach decisions that honor your will and benefit all involved. May our words be thoughtful and our actions guided by compassion. We thank you for this opportunity to collaborate, and we pray for productive outcomes. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Mr. McClure, would you recognize the veterans, please?
All right. At every meeting, we ask for veterans there who are here to stand up and be recognized. All right. Now, if you haven't received one of these pins, come up here and we'll give you one. Now.
Yep.
Come on up.
Thank you.
Good job.
Work your way on down here now. Way on down.
Thank you, sir.
Be a veteran, you deserve every bit of it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Good looking pen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Thank you. We appreciate you, veterans. All right, register for public address. We have a sign-up sheet right over here. If you want to speak in public address, please sign up. Adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
All right, hear none. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion we adopt the agenda.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Janice Hurley.
Good evening.
Hey.
I'm Janice Hurley, and I'm from Davidson Medical Ministries and DC Connect, and I'm here tonight to talk about the point-in-time count. We are the unsheltered access coordinators for Davidson County for Region 5. Region 5 includes the counties of Cabarrus, Rowan, Union, and Stanley County, as well as Davidson County. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with this, the point-in-time count is a snapshot count of the count of people experiencing homelessness on a single night in January. And that single night this year will be the 29th of January. Throughout the nation, each county will be hosting their very own point-in-time count on this day. The information gathered during the point-in-time is the main source of data used for the federal government to track the number, the demographics, and the needs of those experiencing homelessness throughout the country at this time. This data is used to determine the federal funding allocation to address towards the homeless of Davidson County. We can count people through February 4th. We need your help to ensure that we have an accurate count of the people experiencing homelessness in Davidson County. In the past few years, we've only counted right at 140 people. We have 140 people experiencing homelessness in Lexington alone. And so it's really important that we come together and we collaborate so we can count all those experiencing homelessness in Davidson County. So we're asking for your participation. If you'd like to participate, you can reach out to me directly or Michelle Wood, or you can come and ask for a card. Debbie has those with our contact information. Everyone who participates needs to be trained. We have a training opportunity at 6 p.m. on January 16th at Unity United Methodist Church in Thomasville. And if you can't be there to be trained, then we're willing to come to you and train you at a time that works for you. So Anyway, it's the point in time count. It's really important for our county so we can get the federal dollars we need so that we can help people to get into a home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa Prout.
Hello, I am Melissa. I am here once again for the same reason I've been here many times before. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to welcome the new commissioner.
Thank you.
Glad to see the new faces. Hopefully that means with the new faces, there can actually be productive change. Which
Could you
brings
pull
me-
that
Which
microphone up?
brings
Thank you.
me to why I am here. I've come here before as a former foster child, asking for an audit, an independent federal and state audit of CPS, and now the child support office in the health department. Before I came as a foster child. Now I'm coming with a foster parent. We have foster parents in this town that's just as scared as the foster children are to speak up. Everyone on this board, some of you have been here for a couple decades. This is something that can be dealt with. There is a need for CPS. Children do need to be protected. But that is an agency that we all know is greatly abused. Children are often slipped through the cracks. The ones that need to be protected aren't. The ones that don't need to be removed are usually the ones that are. And it is then that they find out what abuse is for the first time in many cases. So, again, as I have for almost 30 years, I am asking for an independent state and federal audit. The federal audit looks at the constitutional violations. These children have constitutional rights from the day they're born, some states before they're born, but at the very least, the day they're born, not when they become adults. They have rights. Those rights are being abused. This agency is treated more like a child trafficking agency than an agency that is there to protect children. So, the federal audit will cover the constitutional violations. The state audit will cover the financial violations. There's a lot of missing money that goes through there, as well as this county, and all of you sitting in this room is well aware of that. So at the very least, find out where the money's going. Everybody cares about the money. So I'm going to wrap that up and just let you know I'm still here, not going anywhere. Going to continue to be a thorn in everyone's side until this is done. Now you can all take a moment, and wish me happy birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Pratt. Mr. Manager, are you aware of any money that's missing? I'm not sure. I'm not aware of any money that's missing.
We get audited.
We get an audit every year, ma'am. We get an audit every year.
Audit yourself. I want someone to
Excuse me.
Don't worry about
Is her time up, Debbie? Yeah, just run out. Sorry.
If you're going to discuss
Your time just
what
run
I'm
out.
saying,
Your time
don't
just run
be
out.
rude.
Your time just run out.
Your time's running out too.
Okay, that's fine,
How's
ma'am.
your court date going?
It's going fine, ma'am. Your time just run out. Thank you.
Want to point a gun to make
Thank
me
you.
sit down?
Thank you. No, but I'll get the sheriff to lead you out here if I need to,
He
so.
can try.
Okay. So anyhow, Mr. Manager,
Lead you out.
is there any money missing that you know of?
Have you done an audit?
Is there any other commissioner here aware of any money that's missing? I just
Are we
think,
aware of an audit?
I think the public needs to be aware of that.
I think the
Okay.
public needs to be aware of an audit.
Thank you. David, is it Norman?
Yes, sir.
How are you tonight, sir? There you go. Thank you. How are you this afternoon?
How y'all doing?
Great.
Thank you.
Sir,
I didn't tell you I like your hat, okay? A while ago when you come up, I like the hat.
this is the banner that we're gonna use for the MLK parade. I came before you, the committee, some years ago to get Davidson County involved in the MLK parade. We hope very seriously to get all of the county schools, but the last superintendent of schools said that she couldn't see all of the band directors having a schedule that will provide. So we asked for as many as possible. That gave us the largest parade this county has had. We had 6 county bands, 2 college bands, and the city school band. If I could show this to the public. What many of you don't understand is these kids want to participate. They don't want to be the school that didn't get a chance to come down Main Street on MLK. Thank you, sir.
That's a nice looking banner. Good job. Somebody done a good job.
Thank you. Mr. McClure is the only person I recognize who was here when I made the presentation, and in less than 24 hours the next morning, Mr. Potts called me and told me that Davidson County would celebrate MLK. We're very appreciative of that, but the accomplishment of MLK is not because the NAACP stands behind us financially, not politically, is that we bring kids together. When you, I, and everybody else here is gone, we'll have a mold of saying we can live together. And we're trying to stand for that and be about that. I'm also allowed to offer you an invitation if you want to participate. Come on, get a car, truck, or whatever you commissioners want to ride in and come on down Main Street with us. At the same time, I thank you for your time. I'm hoping we'll hear from you. We've been waiting for the superintendent of county schools to get back to us because Monday is the day. Now, mind you, we've looked at the review and there's possibility of just 37-degree weather. I'm not going to let the little grown folks in nursery and daycare come down the street at that weather. But if we get a change and a chance, we definitely all want to come down the street. Thank you. Have a good evening.
And also, there's a school board member right on the second row there, and you might want to just introduce yourself to him, okay? He's a newly elected school board member. So
thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Don't forget about them old people, 37.
I'm sorry, yes, you got something to read? Yes,
I have an
ma'am.
individual who reached out to me today for an ADA exemption. She didn't reach out until 4:30. She's recently had back surgery and wanted to be here and could not. So the best accommodation that we could figure out to do at such late notice was for her to email me what she wanted to have said and to read it into the record. So if you guys would indulge me. Finally, the time has come. And this is my notice to you and Davidson County officials to tell you that I am suing Davidson County and finally releasing all of my evidence of corruption, and it's a ton. Despite the fact the system is broken, you don't want to fix it, you want money. Child Protective Services continues to destroy and traumatize families, and I don't know how you look at yourself in the mirror. Every day, parents are further victimized by the system that is supposed to protect them. Instead of investigating allegations, our children are being intentionally ripped away from loving, caring, and safe homes and families that are not doing anything wrong. Which raises a question. What did CPS do to verify the initial claims, false accusations, before ripping a family apart? The answer is nothing. Leaving my daughter to wonder 5 years later, asking Mommy, why did they take me from you? I've witnessed too much, and I personally blame each person who has knowledge of this for-profit industry for what you do to innocent children and parents, for intentional fraud, coercion, intimidation, interference, kidnapping of our children, which is forever trauma. For me, it is not about the money, but I do plan on taking every time I can from Davidson County, and with evidence I don't plan on settling out of court. I played on taking you all the way to the point and of hopefully bankrupt they knew is how I put it. That's how much evidence I have from 2019 on. I just had to make sure I was safe first because I know how you retaliate. I've had to put up with it. But I know you care about money, which is the sick cause my kids are not safe. Davidson County CPS has been filing false reports without proper investigation, and in doing so separated my child from myself, the only person who's been consistently her primary caregiver since birth, traumatizing both my daughter and myself. The frustration and devastation of having my daughter ripped away from me due to being harassed, coerced, falsified allegations that were given by an angry spouse, and told lies by caseworkers over and over who were already in my house while I wasn't home. Then being discriminated against is my parents' worst nightmare. I know It's known there is a problem with child protection services with an overload and lack of training in caseworkers, as well as being underpaid and overworked, and the turnover is high for sure. Doing terrific harm when removing the child from the parents. Even temporary, it's still damaging to any kid. Of course, it's severely damaging to the parents as well. Your job is to protect kids, but after any removal, the damage is already done. I went from seeing my healthy, happy, and talkative daughter ever since birth to my daughter being sick and placed in foster care, and last week she was worse with no action being taken, despite how much I beg. I get supervised visitation once a week, having to say goodbye to my daughter, who each time begs me to take her home, not understanding why I'm leaving her. Having to hand my daughter back to the same people and many others I don't trust at all, threatening my child's health and well-being. These issues aren't getting enough attention. Mine and many other constitutional rights are being violated every day in this county. What happened to our fundamental rights as parents? Our innocent children's rights and well-being, discovering that everyone who works in this family court CPS process are ignoring the Constitution and all of the protection that the Constitution provides people faced with the threat of abuse of power. You're not making progress. I'm demanding that CPS and the courts clean up their act, follow the right to due process and equal protection. You guys have legal obligations to respect our fundamental constitutionally protected parental rights and children's rights. I don't know what it's going to take to make someone wake up and care or to get some coverage of this, but I'm not going to stop until someone speaks up and something changes. My name is Katrina Milburn. My daughter's name is Ellie, and I don't forget these names.
Thank you for reading that into record. All right, Jason, you'll have to get up and let Lee have your seat.
Just a point of privilege real quick, Mr. Chairman. I did some research, and the North Carolina General Assembly had issued a statement on the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services in North Carolina for a mismanagement of $20+ million that was issued for CPS and some different things. So that was just on the state level, but that does not speak to Davidson County and what we do in the court. I wanted the folks listening at home to understand, while there was some validity to what our citizens said, that doesn't happen on a local level as far as we know. We're inspected by the state every year, and we have to meet federal guidelines. Most of our issues go through the court system here also, so I just wanted to say that. My wife was a guardian ad litem. I take that very seriously when we're talking about kids. So,
yep. Thank you. Moving on to 7A, rezoning request by David and Lee Chase in Cotton Grove Township containing 1.07 acres plus or minus from conditional use OI to RA2. Brooke, if you want to lead that off, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our first request is a request by RCP, excuse me, no, it's Chase, I'm sorry, I got the wrong. Might help me get the right folder. Request by David and Lee Chase to rezone property located in Cotton Grove Township, tax map 22E, block 1, lot 11, containing 1.07 acres more or less. Said property is located on the east side of Linwood Southmont Road, approximately 0.28 miles north of the Ravenwood Lane intersection at 8225 Linwood Southmont Road. Rezoning is requested to change from that of CU O&I Conditional Use Office and Institutional District to that of RA2 Rural Agricultural District. The board may remember this. Several months ago, the Chases came before the board asking to go from CU O&I to CZRC, and that application was denied. So now they are wanting to try to rezone it back to RA2. It's my understanding.
Okay. I declare the public hearing open. Would they like to come up and speak on the matter?
Ms. Chase is back there. She'll be coming forward.
How are you, sir? Hey, I'm good. How are you guys? So yeah, I don't have a presentation or anything. This is really my last option. You guys denied us over the summer, earlier this year, so I don't have anything planned, but if you have questions, I'm here to answer.
Okay, any questions?
What do you plan to do with it under RA2?
You guys, we tried to go residential commercial, and you told us no, so we have no choice but to turn it back into a residence and try to sell it. So.
Y'all good? All right, thank you. We got all we need. This is a down zoning, so I don't see any issue with this at all. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I'm sorry. Does anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor or against this?
Here's the staff recommendation.
Hearing none, I'm gonna close the public hearing.
Here's the staff recommendation.
I mean, I'm sure the staff's gonna,
That staff would support the request.
I mean, it's a down zoning and we didn't.
Surrounded on all sides by RA2, and there's quite a few standards in the land development plan that support this.
And we didn't approve their commercial, so I don't hardly see where we got much of a choice.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
I second the motion made by Commissioner Tripp.
All right, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry about that. I just wasn't gonna ask for staff recommendation. I kinda figured I know where you was going with that.
That's not a problem.
You normally ask for that after you close the public hearing anyway, so.
That's quite all right, sir.
Right. All right, moving on to item B, 7B, rezoning request by Coy and Joanna Berrier in Emmons Township containing 2.64 acres from RA1 to RA2.
We do have a request by Coy and Joanna Berrier to rezone property located in Emmons Township, tax map 32B, lot 82B, containing 2.64 acres more or less. Said property is located on the north side of Snyder Station Road, approximately 0.28 of a mile west of the South NC Highway 109 intersection at 1045 Snyder Station Road. Rezoning is requested to change from that of RA1, Rural Agricultural District, to that of RA2, Rural Agricultural District. The barriers are here, and once we open the public hearing.
Okay, I'm gonna declare the public hearing open. If you'd come forward, please, and tell us what your plans are from RA1 to RA2.
It's RA1 on the north side of Snyder Station Road, and then just right across the road, it's RA2. And so, I mean, there's already like 2 or 3 mobile homes that joins that property, and what I'm planning on doing is just cutting an acre out of it and installing another mobile home on that property, because like say right across the road you can put single wides. And that's what my plan is, just to have something for rental for the, for the area, because there's a demand for rental everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
I got you. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, you might want to have a seat on the front row. I'm going to ask anybody if they're in opposition or in favor. So do we have anybody in favor or opposition in the audience? Seeing none and hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Lee, staff recommendation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Staff's going to offer support to the recommendation, or to the rezoning request. Our reasons for support are there's a mixed variety of housing types in the area. There's single wide, double wide, stick-built home. The area is very rural in character. We would recognize changing conditions with the real estate market, and it is harder to secure a residence now than it ever has been before. This does meet Article 7 of the zoning ordinance, since it is contiguous across the street to RA2. And policy statements 6.1, 6.4, 6.5, 6.10, 7.1, 7.3, and 7.4 all support the amendment. We recommend approval and ask that you adopt a statement of consistency.
Amen.
Okay, can I get a motion with the statement of consistency?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the rezoning request with a resolution and statement of consistency.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. We have a second by Commissioner Kester. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. You're good to go. Thank you. Yep. Good luck. All right, 7C, rezoning request by RCP Acquisitions. If you want to go ahead and lead that one off and...
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Request by RCP Acquisitions, LLC, to rezone property located in Arcadia Township, tax map 3, lot 27, containing 7.25 acres more or less. Said property is located on the south side of Hickory Tree Road, approximately 850 feet east of the North NC Highway 150 intersection, at the address 3318 Hickory Tree Road. Rezoning is requested to change from that of RM2, High Density Residential District, to that of HC, Highway Commercial District. We do have Attorney Nick Blackwood in the audience tonight to further go into this once the public hearing is open. And once that's done, we'd ask him to come forward and explain the application.
Okay, I'll, open the public hearing. Would you please come forward? How are y'all this afternoon?
Doing great. Hope you are.
Good.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, appreciate your time this evening. If it's okay, I'd like to come up and pass out a few materials.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So again, my name is Nick Blackwood. My address is 804 Green Valley Road in Greensboro, here on behalf of RCP Acquisitions. And we do have Ben Dow this evening along with me. If you have any specific questions as to the development, he may be best suited to answer those. So I will be brief. I think this is a relatively straightforward request. If you'll flip along with me to the second page in your packet, I'm sure you're all well familiar with this area. The subject property is outlined in blue, but just wanted to draw your attention to some of the other commercial and more intense uses in the area. And as noted in the staff report, this property was rezoned for higher intensity multifamily development some time ago. And as you'll see on our sketch plan in a few slides, there's some NCDOT improvements that are planned with a roundabout that really cuts into the site and makes multifamily development fairly difficult. So we see this HC rezoning for the intended development as the highest and best use of this particular property. On the next slide, it's an excerpt from the county zoning map. Just wanted to highlight the large swath of existing HC zoning right across Highway 150. We've got some light industrial zoning to the north, and a fairly large tract of office and institutional zoning to the south, which houses multifamily development. Let's see, our next slide is that illustrative sketch plan that I referenced. So if you'll note down along the southern end of the property, you see that proposed roundabout. That right-of-way that's going to be taken is about 1.13 acres. So just from a density standpoint and feasibility for development of multifamily, I don't see that as a particularly practical option. And I believe that roundabout, those NCDOT plans are really kind of what killed the last multifamily project. So we're taking what's coming it's from a transportation improvement standpoint and trying to make the best of it. Slides 5 and 6 show some illustrative renderings. RCP is planning on installing a self-storage facility. And more than happy to flip back to the sketch plan if you have any questions about the general layout. Obviously, that's illustrative and subject to site plan review. But here on these next couple of slides, we just have some renderings showing what the developer's intending. I think it's going to be a high-quality facility, high-quality building materials, fully fenced and secured to address any potential concerns on that front. So really, I think a compatible use with what's already in the area. And then our last slide in the booklet, we did send out a notice letter in advance of the planning board meeting, offered a neighborhood meeting, and provided contact information for anybody in the area with questions or concerns to reach out. We didn't hear from anybody, and no one attended our meeting. So I don't believe this is a contentious or controversial case as far as it's concerned with folks in the area. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
You're gonna put commercial there, correct? Sort of like what you got in this pamphlet here?
Yes, sir.
Cause I think at one time, what there's some talk about an apartment complex going there. I like commercial.
As Mr. Blackwood alluded to, that's the RM2, the high-density residential district that's currently on the property. So you're right, Commissioner Shell. The previous plan was to put some type of multifamily development on that site, but the right-of-way and the roundabout that DOT's proposing took enough of the acreage away. It apparently wasn't a feasible project anymore.
All right, thank you. If you don't mind, have a seat there and we'll open it up to the public.
Sure.
Is anybody in favor or in opposition of this rezoning? Got a quiet group here tonight. This is,
It's very rare.
That makes a good meeting.
It does. Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead, get on up and say something, in favor or opposition. All right, hearing none, we'll close the, public hearing. Staff recommendation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Mr. Blackwood alluded to, this area has undergone a tremendous amount of change. I remember as a kid growing up, I can remember the Texaco station and Bill Beam's hardware store on the corner here, and that was about all that was there.
Sanders Lake behind.
Yep, yeah.
The joke, or the joke.
Look at it now. So there's been a tremendous amount of change over the last several decades. That represents change or changing condition. It is contiguous to HC on basically the whole western side, limited industrial to the north, and office and institutional across Hickory Tree Road at the villas. There's a lot of residential growth going on, and a lot of the new homes are slab homes. They're built on a slab, which is kind of limited. You don't see basement houses anymore, so people need storage facilities, and these things are going up all over the place. So it probably will be a good project. I would point to the land development plan policies 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 52, 54, 55, 57, 73, and 74 all support the request, and it's also in compliance with the zoning ordinance, Article 10 or Article 7 administration. Staff would support the application, recommend support, and ask you to adopt a statement of consistency.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, are you ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve the application and adopt the resolution or statement of consistency.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Did you get all that, Debbie?
Yes, sir, I did.
Thank you.
Smooth.
If you want to go ahead and introduce 7D there, that'll be fine.
Be glad to. Our last but not least rezoning public hearing tonight will be a request by Kurt Durham to rezone property located in Cotton Grove Township, tax map 32, lot 1B, containing .93 acres more or less. Said property is located on the southeast corner of the intersection of NC Highway 8 at Wofford Road at the address 8985 NC Highway 8. Rezoning is requested to change from that of HC Highway Commercial District to that of RC Rural Commercial District. Mr. Durham is here tonight, and once the public hearing is open, I'll let him come up and elaborate a little more on his plans and why he's requesting to go from HC to RC.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open. Come forward and, tell us what your plans are, please.
Good evening. I'm Kirk Durham. I'm a little under the weather tonight, so I'll try to keep this brief.
Bless your heart.
We're looking to change it from HC to RC. It'll allow us to have a footprint that might work for this property. We don't exactly have plans for it yet, but this will allow us to have the footprint that we're hoping for. That would make it more feasible. That's all I have.
Should be good enough.
Yeah.
You'll have a seat on the front row in case we need you again. Anybody wishing to speak in favor or in opposition to this? Seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Did anybody else have any questions for this gentleman? No? Okay. Staff recommendation, please.
Staff is going to offer support to the request. The main reason for the request is that HC has a 50-foot front setback. RC only has 30 feet. That he'll pick up 20 additional feet of developable property should he be successful. This area is not supported by the land development plan as a commercial node, but one's formed there. Over the years, we've had rezonings, and all of these properties have something in common where they are locally service-oriented types of commercial uses. And I think this will be exactly the same. This is a general district request, so anything allowed in the RC, which is a down zone from HC. There's fewer uses allowed in RC than there are HC. It's obviously in a good location because we've got commercial property here. This is the property in question. Dollar General's here. We just heard a request. This is 64 Diner. This Todd Biggerstaff property was recently changed. Benny Newsome has a property right here that's mini storage. So there's a lot of new commercial development there. Policies of the Davidson County Land Development Plan that support this request are 111314, 151718, 5657, 59, and 74. All are in support of the request, and this does meet the Davidson County Zoning Ordinance Article 7 amendments due to the changed or changing conditions in the area. Staff would recommend approval and ask you to adopt a statement of consistency, please.
All right, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion.
The statement of consistency, correct? Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. There you go. You're good. All right.
Well, I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Lee. Good job.
Appreciate it.
Rolled right on through those. Get Jason back in his seat.
Recommended against, that's the reason I said something about it. But I'm on
All right. So any changes to the consent agenda?
Seeing none, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries, so we'll move on to item 9A. Appointment Planning Committee for Aging Services. Casey, will you lead this off?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You've got 6 applications for a vacant seat on the Planning Committee for Aging Services that we've gotten over the past year, and they're listed there in your agenda.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Y'all received copies of these. The first 5 are available. I'd like to ask Alton, who's our chairman of this committee, to come up, and he and I have talked briefly about these, and I hope you did take a minute to take a look at them. We're looking for people that love our elderly community and want to work with us on making plans and encouraging others to be supportive of our aging community.
So do you know these people, Alton?
I don't know any of them personally. I don't know if any of y'all do or not. You want me to go over the 3 that we talked about prior to? Okay. So Commissioner Wofford and myself talked, and we had 3 that we were looking at. Our first choice is Rebecca Moser. The second choice was Charlie Ralph, and the third was Lessa Chesham. Those are the 3 recommendations. I think currently we only have 1 opening.
We do
and
have
so
1.
there was
Who was your third one?
Lessa Chesham. I think that's right.
Second, okay, I see.
Yeah.
And we on our committee right now, we do have
Got 2 that come off in March. Is that right?
3 that come, but they have.
Actually, I was made aware, I think that is a mistake.
Okay.
They're looking at those appointments, I think who redid the list, Luna, reached out to me this afternoon after 5, that a couple of them are only showing 2-year appointments and not 3-year appointments.
Okay.
So it could be that those folks that say 25 are not until 26.
Okay. I guess we'll reconfirm that in our meeting on Friday then.
Heads up.
So-
I'm going to be talking to them in the morning.
So this is not the same as the one me and you discussed the other day that we're gonna have?
This
Okay.
is the Planning Committee for Aging Services.
Right.
The PTRC helps oversee it, but it doesn't have those strict requirements that
Okay.
the nursing home and the adult care home CACs have. Those are the ones that we really need all the folks on.
Yeah.
And actually, some of these folks have been sent to them to try to vet to get them into their training process. It's just a very extensive process before it comes back.
Can I have a point of privilege, Madam Chairman? Madam Chairman, because you work with these individuals on a close basis like any other commissioner would, with any subcommittee or any committee. I value your opinion, so whatever your selection would be, that would be mine.
Well, Alton and I had talked about what we'd like to do is to take these three choices that we think, and like, for example, the First Lady was a nurse, you know, and she has worked tirelessly with the senior elderly community, and the others have done similar things. So, what we'd like to do is go back to our committee.
Yeah,
and
as long
say,
as those three are okay with you folks, and then we can make a
yeah,
decision, and we'll bring them back, of course.
And we'll bring this one back and say, you know. And
When do you guys meet again?
we meet Friday.
Meet Friday at 9.
I mean, would you want us to put it on for the 27th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
So is all these folks nurses that you have, or?
This first one was a nurse. Lisa worked in the counseling rehabilitation area.
So that's the first one, Lisa?
No,
Rebecca?
the first one was Rebecca.
Moser.
And our third one, Alton, help me remember,
Charlie
which one
Rose.
was the
The
third?
third one, the Lisa Chesham, was a licensed counselor.
Yes, and the other one was Charlie Rose.
Charlie Rogan,
He's a PhD.
The reason I'm saying,
Yeah,
did you
that
put
one.
everybody on there with a medical background, or?
No.
we kinda spread it out a little.
You don't need everybody with the
No.
same.
No.
You may have some folks in one.
But there's only one you're picking out of those three.
You may have.
Yes,
some folks
yes,
in
that's
one.
what we'll do.
Not me.
I'm good.
Know that we need a motion or not to get the blessing of those three,
Hey,
Debbie?
to the 27th?
I mean, unless they have to have them, does anybody else have any recommendations, somebody?
That's the main thing, if y'all have any recommendations as well.
Yeah.
We're certainly look at that.
One thing that I would like to ask you to look at as your group is when you, like, Miss Chisholm, I don't know anything about her, but she's only lived in Davidson County 3 years. And I would really like to have somebody who's willing to work and has ties to Davidson County.
And, you know, a lot of times what they're trying to do is to come into they're new to the county, fairly new, and they're just trying to get involved with the county.
Right,
And,
right.
you know, and that's the reason,
Yeah.
you know, that is for a situation. But, some of them, we had one on the list that was a single father that had a business. He was in the business community.
That was, Brian Jessup.
So tell me, how long you been on this, committee, Alton?
I'm probably going on 3 or 4 years now.
Say 4?
4? I think it's 4, yeah.
And you've been on there same amount of time?
I've been on there longer.
Longer? What exactly do they do? Can you kinda give me an insight of what this committee does and?
We work with PTRC, who helps us, advocate. This is an advocating, committee.
For the elderly, and we also approve the funding for a lot of the federal grant funding stuff
That's
too.
right. We
The
do
Meals
that.
on Wheels and stuff. I know y'all approve, we oversee that, get the reports on that stuff as well.
So y'all approve that funding?
We don't, well, we approve a budget sorta, don't we?
Yeah,
Come on up
please.
and help me out. I don't wanna mess it up.
So the federal funding at the federal level is Older Americans Act funds, and then those funds are distributed to the states, and those funds are for aging services. So when they're distributed to the states, it becomes Home and Community Care Block Grant funds. And then every county has to have, or with that criteria, has a planning committee for Home and Community Care Block Grant funds. So there's 2 funded agencies in Davidson County, and that is Davidson County Senior Services and the Life Center of Davidson County. So basically, this committee, what they do is they ensure that those funds are being spent properly. We give reports at the meetings of how we're spending the funding, and then also they recommend to the Board of Commissioners the budget each year. And so what funds go into which line items and which services, and they make a recommendation. They don't actually vote on the funding themselves. So they make a recommendation to this board.
Do y'all understand that? Okay.
We approve, but we don't approve.
Yep, you on the board as well, Fred?
Fred is.
Sure, Fred, yeah, so what do you think about that, Fred? The three that they wanna take.
I don't have any problem with the 3. But most of the time, when the when the commissioners take the time to interview the people, they make pretty good decisions. We'll go forward.
All right,
All right.
so you wanna do what now, Debbie?
The table it until the 27th?
Right, that'll be
Mhm.
All right, thank you, we appreciate the recommendation.
Thank you.
Can I have just
Yeah.
one? The lady that came up was talking about trying to get some kind of number on the homeless. I think it would be a good idea to get some of our seniors to help with that.
We actually have a staff person that has volunteered, and she's training for that, and we'll also share it with the seniors as well.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I can get Janice and
That's-
Melissa to send me, or Michelle, to send me the information so I can send it to you. Because I know that Janice had a handout along with
How
the,
you count them unless you go down in the woods.
that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Pretty much one looking for them, yeah.
Right,
But you better be careful.
yeah.
Yes.
All right, with that said, I'll take a motion to adjourn, I think that
So move, Mr. Chairman.
concludes our meeting for January the 13th. We have a motion, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?